I'm a certified calibrator and TV reviewer, and there are 6 TV settings I would change on an LG OLED television to obtain the most accurate picture quality when playing PS5 games. Let me show you. When you first connect an LG OLED TV to a Sony PS5 or PS5 Pro, it will kick into game optimizer mode because of ALLM or auto low latency mode. Now let me quickly reset all the picture settings in game optimizer mode to start from scratch so that you can learn what to do from the start. And the first thing I normally like to do is to go into the color submenu and then change the white balance because I'm allergic to blue color temperature, and the default color temperature here is certainly too blue and not accurate. And what we want to do is to change it all the way to warm 50 on LG OLEDs from 2024 and before. This will target the D65 white point, which is the white point used within the film and broadcast and increasingly gaming industry. So this should give you a very good base for accurate colors and accurate hues. After doing that, we will go and check in the clarity submenu, and you can see that various settings here are grayed out because of ALLM. So ALLM will kick the TV into game optimizer mode, which is the one that delivers the lowest input lag. And to have the lowest input lag, you will have to disable a lot of video processing, hence all these settings being grayed out. The next thing we would like to do is to go into the brightness submenu, and we want to change dynamic tone mapping from on to HDRG. What HDRG does is to tell the TV not to perform additional tone mapping. So in terms of the tone curve, the TV will just follow the PQ standard up to the panel peak and then hard clip there. By not performing tone mapping, it will let the console, the PS5 Pro or the PS5, do all the tone mapping, and the TV won't perform additional tone mapping on top, which means that you avoid a scenario called double tone mapping, which will dilute the HDR impact. And another term to describe this would be source-based tone mapping. Basically, HDRG will prevent the TV from performing additional unnecessary tone mapping on the HDR games or HDRG compliant games that your PS5 console is outputting. Next, what we want to do is to also check that you have disabled the energy saving setting. Now, if you haven't watched my previous video where I tell you the 6 TV settings you need to adjust on your LG OLED immediately after unboxing, one of them is to disable the energy saving setting. So to do that, go into the general submenu and then go to energy saving. Make sure that energy saving step is off rather than auto, because if it is on auto or if it is on minimum, medium or maximum, what the TV will do is to automatically adjust its own picture, for example gamma, for example brightness, contrast, in accordance to the light that is detected by the light sensor on the TV itself. So this will not provide a stable picture. So as a video enthusiast and also a professional calibrator previously, I advise you to turn energy saving step off. After that, that's probably all there is to it on the TV itself, but still we need to set up certain things on the console. Talking of which, since the pandemic, some streaming providers, including Netflix, have throttled the bitrate of certain shows, especially in Europe, resulting in a softer picture with more compression artifacts. This is where a VPN comes in. Surfshark allows you to stream content from another country without needing you to be physically there, so you can watch Netflix at higher bit rates with better picture quality. You can also get more content that's not available in your region. Perhaps the US Netflix library, which contains more movie titles, for less than the price of a Big Mac per month. There's 24/7 live customer support, a 30-day money-back guarantee, and if you visit surfshark.com/HDTV test, you will get up to 4 extra months free. So sign up today and give Surfshark a try. I'll put the link in the YouTube description below. Thanks again for your support. So if we go into the settings menu on the PS5 or the PS5 Pro, we want to go down to screen and video. The first thing that I would like to change would be the HDR settings. The PS5 will be set to always on, which means that even SDR games will be output as HDR. And if you would like to preserve the creative intent, sometimes it is good to just play SDR games as SDR. So I am a big stickler for creative intent, so I would put it as on when supported. And key to HIG is this adjust HDR option. If you click on it, this will allow you to calibrate for HIG compliant games. The first screen is to adjust for maximum full frame tone map luminance, or max FFTML. The way to adjust it correctly after you have set HIG on the TV is to go down all the way and then go slowly back up until you first no longer see the sun. And on a 42-inch LG C4, or indeed any C4, I believe it would take around 14 clicks from bottom. So go all the way down to bottom, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then you can no longer see the sun. The second screen will set the maximum tone map luminance, or max TML. Again, do the same process. Just go all the way to bottom and then just go up until you can no longer see the sun. The first step where you can see the sun. Then click on next, and the third screen will let you set the minimum tone map luminance, or min TML. This one, just go all the way down to 0, so that you make sure that your blacks are true black. And after that, click on OK to accept all the settings. And the other thing that is probably important is to make sure that your RGB range is automatic. And on the TV itself, if we go into advanced settings, if we go into brightness, you can see that the video range is auto as well. So this means that when the PS5 is outputting full range, the TV will be accepting it as full range. When the PS5 is outputting limited range, the TV will be displaying it as limited range. And this is important, especially on the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, because its HDMI bandwidth is limited to 32 gigabits per second. Instead of the 40 gigabits per second that the Xbox Series X is capable of. 32 bits per second means that for games you can output in RGB, but when you play 4K 120Hz games, the chroma will drop down to YCC422, which is limited range. So it is important that you use this automatic together with video range auto on the TV itself to make sure that the picture will be displayed correctly. If you really want to be on the safe side, you can set both to limited, but I think you will lose some fidelity, especially when playing games which are full range. So auto and auto is the best. Before I end, actually, I would like to also, show you, since we will play SDR games as SDR, we will need to set the SDR settings correctly as well. And to do that, in the first instance, I'll just switch off HDR so that we can kick the TV into SDR. And what we will do again is to bring up the game optimizer menu. You can see that the SDR game optimizer mode is entirely different from the HDR game optimizer mode in terms of the TV settings. So we will just again go through the process. First instance, change the color, because I'm truly allergic to this bluish tint. So and I can't really even perform the most basic task. So once I get to warm 50, which is accurate to, targeting D65, I feel more comfortable. And with warm 50 out of the way, what we will do next is to go into clarity, check that everything is still okay. Now super resolution is set to low, which means that it will try to add some sort of edge enhancement to SDR games. But I'm not a fan of edge enhancement because it will create more aliasing, especially in games. So I will just turn super resolution off, and then we go into the brightness submenu. There's virtually nothing that you can change, and I think 2.2 gamma is accurate for games, because many game developers develop on PCs and they use 2.2 or sRGB gamma. And the other thing is the OLED pixel brightness. I think this depends on how bright your room is. And unfortunately, in game mode, LG still doesn't allow you to change the peak brightness. So if you are playing in a very bright room, maybe you want to even consider going up to 100. But if you are playing in a dark room, just go to whatever is comfortable to your eyes. I would guess that concludes my very quick guide of how to set up an LG OLED TV in conjunction with the Sony PS5 to obtain the most accurate picture quality. Now, if you want to learn how to set up the LG OLED in terms of the TV settings for SDR content, for HDR content, for Dolby Vision content, I have another instruction video that you can watch by clicking here.